Breachers is an amazing game, and what makes it great is how dynamic and deep the gameplay is. There's so much you can do with all the different gadgets and mechanics, and it's entirely different from any other VR shooter. So to help you navigate the mechanics of this game and become one of the best players, here's 20 things you probably didn't know about Breachers, even if you spent some time in the alpha. Some of these are facts about the game itself, while most of these are tips and tricks that I learned while playing the alpha and when they gave creators early access to the new maps. Number 1, this game is one of the first VR games to implement leaning. In fact, it might actually be the first. I can't really think of any others off the top of my head. The only problem is you don't actually have to lean in real life. The way this mechanic works is that if you move your body in real life to one side or the other, the game will think you're leaning. It doesn't matter if you're actually leaning or if you just took one step to the side. You can double check this yourself because when you look down, there's a little square and that's your center of gravity. That's where the game thinks that your 2 feet are planted. And when you physically step to one side in real life, you can see that the square stays in the same spot. But as soon as you move with your joystick, the square centers itself under you. The benefit of knowing this is that the next time you want to peek a corner, you can just physically step over. You don't have to lean, you don't have to lose your balance and hurt your back or whatever. We're not out here trying to do an ab workout, you know what I mean? We're not trying to tone up our washboards. We're here to destroy the other team. So use this flaw in the mechanic to your advantage. 2, you can activate breaching foam with your gun. You don't actually have to use your hands. This is super helpful because as soon as you blast down that wall, as soon as you rip that hole open, you're gonna want to run in with your guns up ready to shoot whoever's on the other side. So next time you rip open a new one, you do some nice new construction to these nice buildings, use your gun to press down on that magical red button instead of your hands. 3, some gadgets, specifically breaching foam and healing syringes, are actually reusable. The breaching foam can be used up to 3 times in one match, while the healing syringe has unlimited healing. It just has a really long cooldown, so you can't use it over and over. 4, speaking of healing syringes, you can actually heal your teammates, not just yourself. Just activate it and hit your teammates with that little pokey from the needle. So make sure you're using the right needle. You don't want to end up sending your teammates down a really dark path that's self-destructive that, other needles offer. I mean, who's going to help you disable that bomb if your teammate's in some alley getting shot up with the wrong kind of needle? So don't do that. Always make sure you're poking your friends with the right needles. 5, if you survive to the end of the round, you can keep anything that you have on you. This includes things that you may have picked up from your enemies or even your dead teammates. This is a great way to make sure that your comrades' sacrifices don't go unrecognized. They may have died that day, but at least you were able to loot their shit. This is also a great way to save money and get some great gear for the next round. Just get in the habit of looking for stuff when dead players are on the ground to see if there's anything that would be useful to you. 6, the Vezin is a one-hit headshot kill, making it one of the best overall guns in the game. Of course, what gun you play best with depends on your play style, the map you're on, your strengths and weaknesses, and much more. Plus, FPS games usually change the gun meta all the time to keep things feeling fresh and balanced. But at the time of this recording, the Vezin is a pretty solid choice if you're just looking for one gun to go with. It's a one hit to the head, but the trade-off is that it has a little bit more recoil. But that's okay because the first shot is always accurate. So if you can just get that first shot on the head, you already win. Doesn't matter if the gun is shooting the ceiling afterwards from all the recoil, you've already killed them with that one shot to the head. Unless of course you miss that first shot, in which case you're probably dead. 7, for pistols, I personally like the Spectral because it'll kill enemies much quicker than the Jesper. That said, if you want a full auto pistol, the Cyclone is also a good choice. Just be careful because it has a small magazine, and so you'll run out of bullets faster than a monkey with an AK. 8, if you hold any gun with 2 hands, it reduces the recoil. We probably already know this, in rocket science, whatever. But did you know that after you grab the pistol with your offhand, you can basically rest your hand down at your side? I'm not joking. Grab it in game, and as long as you're holding the grip button, your virtual hand will stay there stabilizing the recoil, even if your real hand is off making a cheeseburger or something. This won't really help you win any gunfights, but it will make sure that your, left hand or offhand is nice and relaxed, not trying to wrangle that Cyclone. 9, the suppressor and the front grip both help to reduce recoil on any gun. The front grip kind of makes sense, but what many don't realize is the suppressor also helps to reduce recoil. The suppressor isn't just to be stealthy. It isn't there just to make you feel like you're James Bond and you're infiltrating some evil lair with sharks swimming in a pit. There's no sharks here, just hexagon soda cans and suppressors that reduce recoil. So if you go with a gun like the Vezin that has a bit more recoil, I highly recommend getting a front grip and a suppressor before even selecting a sight or any of the other gadgets for that matter. 10, While the game might have some of the worst throwing in the world, you can actually deactivate grenades if you grab them before they explode. So you can sit there rethrowing the grenade over and over as many times as you need until you get it right, or until you don't pick it up in time and accidentally blow yourself up. Seriously though, the grenade throwing sucks in this game, and if you can get good at it, you will dominate this game. 11. One cool way to use grenades and other gadgets is to throw them under the doorway. There's a nice little gap here, so if you hear or see someone on the other side, you can toss one under and maybe get them before they come in. 12. Conversely, if you're on the attacking side, keep in mind that the enemies can see your toes under this doorway, so keep your distance until you're ready to move in. And if you see bots standing by the doorway, because they tend to do that, then make sure you go in a different way because the enemy will most likely see the bot's toes. Also, this might be a temporary bug, but when I was playing, I could see laser pointers through the windows and doors. So if you're attacking, be careful with laser pointers. In fact, I wouldn't recommend using one at all because it basically acts like a giant sign saying, "Look at me, come kill me." 13. The game has a lot of vaulting. And not just vaulting over ledges or into windows, you can climb onto boxes, desks, and pretty much anything you want inside of buildings. Not all surfaces are climbable, but if your hand has this little dot when you reach for the surface, that means you can climb onto it. I'm honestly shocked at how many things you can actually climb onto. You can use this mechanic combined with crouching to find some really sneaky little hiding spots as a defender that are really useful. Or you can be like me and just get some really dope drop shots. 14. Just another cool feature that makes this game unique is that you can shoot through walls. You can definitely shoot through the destructible walls, and if I'm not mistaken, you can shoot through some of the other props as well. So if you think you hear someone on the other side, just spray and pray. I've seen many through the wall deaths, and I've even died to gunshots through the wall before, so it's definitely worth it even if you can't see the enemy. 15. First thing you should do when you launch the game is go to your settings and turn on auto sprint. With this on, you'll automatically be sprinting when you're not holding your gun up, kind of like an Onward and some of the other shooters. Without this on, you'll have to click in your thumbstick, and we all know that any game that makes you click in your thumbstick deserves to rot in the metaverse gel. I don't know why, but every VR controller is prone to controller drift. So save your controllers, do yourself a favor, and turn on the auto sprint. It only takes a few seconds to do, and it can make a world of difference. 16. Also in the settings, you can adjust your weapon angle. You want this set so that when you pull out a pistol and point it forward, you don't have to go looking for the front end of the iron sights. It should line up for you wherever you naturally point the gun. Just practice grabbing the pistol and pointing it in front of you like you're a kid playing with a toy gun, and see what angle you end up holding the gun at naturally, and then adjust the in-game angle so that it lines up perfectly with whatever angle you tend to hold the controllers at. For me personally, setting it to 5 feels absolutely perfect. I'm able to aim my gun and nearly immediately have the iron sights lined up. 17. You can deactivate traps by shooting them. Many of the gadgets take just one hit to deactivate, but the door blocker takes a few extra. You can shoot the door or the gadget itself, but shooting the gadget will break it more quickly. Also, a well-placed grenade can destroy one or multiple traps pretty easily. So while the throwing does suck, frag grenades aren't completely useless. 18. Drones are super useful for scoping out the area ahead of your teammates or even distracting the enemy while your teammates sneak up on them. They're a ton of fun to use, and the way the drone works is that it has a battery that gets used up as you move it around. This includes moving up and down, by the way. So if you're droning into the map before your teammates, try to limit any wasted movement, and don't forget that you can even mark locations even while you're a drone. 19. One of the coolest things about this game is that the levels are so full of detail. Sure, some of the props are blockier than Minecraft, but you honestly don't notice most of that while you're playing the game. And another thing that you don't notice while you're playing the game is some of the lore hidden throughout the maps. Now, I'm not about to go deep researching digging up Breacher's lore, at least not yet. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you want to see. But I did notice an award sitting on a shelf that was awarded for the year 2046, hinting at what year this game could be set in, or at least sometime after that. If you pay attention to other clues around the map, there's even more lore hidden throughout. 20. Triangle Factory is a company of VR devs in Belgium that previously made Hyperdash. You might already know this, but you might not realize that they have over 30 people on their team, making them one of the larger VR studios out there. Not only that, but apparently the company was founded all the way back in 2010. Before getting into VR with Hyperdash, they developed a Belgian quiz game called The Switch, I think, and then an AR game on the App Store called AR Sports Basketball. Altogether, this company has been around for over 13 years, so it's no wonder that the game is so good. They have over a decade of experience as a company. And that's it. If you have any other cool tips and tricks that you know of that I might have missed, drop them down below in the comments for me and others to see. I'm sure there's more to this game that we'll all learn and discover together as a community and as the developers continue to work on this amazing game.